Hey, what's going on, guys? Your BFF Snowy Oreo663 here, right now, and I'm joined with my brother Kyle, aka Moody Blues 27, and we are now doing the masterpiece of Disney films. The ones that are outstanding, that I will give a standing ovation to if I get the chance. They have little to no problems, although every film has problems, so, you know, little problems. Hercules is the redheaded bisexual icon of ever.
He's Ed Sheeran.
No, Ed Sheeran's straight, though.
I don't know, man.
So, we are starting off with Hercules.
I love Hercules. Hercules, I mean, everyone knows the story of Hercules. I mean,
Although it does not follow the original story.
It doesn't follow the original
But who cares?
But I don't give a shit.
Don't care.
This movie is the right amount of funny to serious to drama to action to... Yeah, Danny DeVito's great. He makes a perfect little... What is he?
Satyr.
There's a girl named Meg. She invents music. That's crazy. and the song "In Love" is the best music song ever. No, it's really not, but it's definitely top 10 Disney songs. Mm-hmm. Hercules is a great main character. He's lovable and goes through an actual situation where he needs to learn a lesson.
He's got red hair.
She likes Hercules a lot. Hades is a
mood.
He is the most well-written. He's not the best Disney villain, but I think he's the most well-written.
He's one of the funniest.
Yeah.
And that's a short list, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. Because he's both intimidating, smart, and funny. He's the trifecta of Disney villains. And I think he's personally the best written. I love his little sidekicks, Pain and Panic.
I like the dynamic that Meg is working for the villain. Yeah. That's something we hadn't seen. And I Googled it, by the way. So Meg is apparently 28, according to Google, and at the beginning of the movie, they say that Hercules, when he's a baby, in 18 years, the planets will align, and that happens to when the movie is happening, so there's a 10-year difference with the woman older, and that's something you don't really see, and I kind of like that. Yeah, I like that she's had her heart broken before. Yeah. Because usually it's like first love is in Disney movies.
Every song in this movie is a banger.
Yes.
I mean, Go to Distance, Zero to Hero, Gospel Truth, Won't Say I'm in Love, literally invented music.
One Last Hope, Star is Born. I love the Muses.
Like
the Muses, I think this is the very first Disney black characters that technically had names.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're all just one name together. Their voices are so good, and I find it funny that the Spice Girls were offered the spot, but they preferred to do the Spice Girls movie instead.
And I find it great that they mixed three kind of like areas. They mix gospel music, Las Vegas with somewhat of a Greek.
Yeah, and the guy who did the animation was the guy who did Pink Floyd's The Wall, and I haven't seen that, but I've seen the art from it, and it's gorgeous. I love the art style. It's got like a comic book in a way.
Yeah.
This
movie kind of feels like a comic book.
Yeah, it's very similar to Atlantis in the art style, I think. Phil is a wonderful teacher. We all love Danny DeVito. The CGI on the what was it? The Hydra was a little weird.
Yeah, a little
but I don't care because the fight was so good.
One more negative is Meg definitely should have just been KO'd.
Yeah, there ain't no way.
That pillar landed on her, but I mean, it's whatever. It's a small nip. Well, it's not really a small nitpick. It's just a nitpick.
They did kill Meg though. She was dead.
Yeah, she did.
That's ballsy. Even though she came back.
All he wanted to do was go to Olympus. Then he had the chance to go to Olympus, and he's like, "Nah, I'd rather be a human because I fell in love."
Although in the original story, he does end up killing Meg and then f***ing some dude.
Does this look like the original story?
Hera was not his mother, and she fucking hated him so.
Exactly.
And his name was Heracles in the original story.
My favorite character is Phil.
Mine is the Muses.
Song is In Love. I mean, I don't care which song
I won't say I'm in
your
love.
Favorite in this movie. In Love's the best one, but I don't care which one.
Mine is Zero to Hero.
Yeah.
And your favorite scene?
My favorite scene was the training scene.
Mine was Zero to Hero.
She can just heal people with other parts of her body?
With tears. She's probably never really cried before on a person.
Does that mean her she could heal someone?
No!
To Angled is next. She really likes Flynn Rider. and I really like Rapunzel. So
Flynn Rider's got a thing for brunettes.
Did I ever tell you I've got a thing for brunettes?
So if Flynn Rider gets stabbed and there's actually blood that shows, it's pretty cool.
I don't really
Mother
like...
Knows Best is
Mother
kind
Knows
of
Best is fine.
boo boo caca.
And I don't really like the I've Had a Dream.
I love that song.
I don't really like the Snuggly Duckling Thugs all that much.
See the Light. That song is the peak of
romance. If that's not playing at my wedding, I'm not coming.
That song is like this second or first. It's very tied between that and Kiss the Girl for me for best love song.
Yeah.
And Angeline. It's like a three-way tie.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add?
Flynn Rider's hot, and
that is all you've said so far.
What I like about this movie is that Disney first became famous with their retelling of fairy tales, and this feels like the perfect execution, because a lot of times they just focus on the romance as like a side thing, even though it's like central to the plot. For this one, this is a romance. This is pure and simple a romance, and it's done
almost
so well.
Almost feels like a bromance, to be fair. Rapunzel is like a tomboy. She is. She literally beats the shit out of people with
frying pan. That's a very womanly thing to do.
No.
I have never seen a woman actually beat someone over the head with a frying pan.
That's a cliche from the 50s, but sure.
Well,
does this look like it was made in the 50s?
Whatever. I love the horse Maximus is done very well, although he's not in it that much. I love the updates they made to the original story with the flower, and like, that's so creative. And she's the only Disney princess with magical powers, so it's kind of cool, because Elsa is not technically a Disney princess.
She's the only Disney princess that is blonde.
No. It's very pretty. Like I said, I'm a sucker for German stuff, so like when they're in that town and they're playing that music, like that's
I love the
so
scene
pretty.
whenever they do her hair.
Yeah, the braids. Although, like, according to the director, her hair is 70 pounds, so, you know, have fun with that. I like Eugene's, like, backstory, that his name is actually Eugene. That's kind of...
Eugene. What?
Eugene Fitzherbert. Mother Knows Best is kind of an overrated villain song. I don't really find Mother Gothel that intimidating, although I do get what she is. She's like a manipulative person.
Mother, I require sustenance. Anyway, so my favorite character was Maximus.
Mine was Eugene.
And then my favorite song was See the Light.
Same.
And then my favorite scene was the Muffin Man.
What?
Whenever he said his dream was to bake and he showed muffins.
Those cupcakes. My favorite scene was the Kingdom Dance.
Your favorite scene?
It was the Kingdom Dance. And
my kingdom come. This is my kingdom come.
don't kill the fox. No!
That's why I like it better.
So cute!
Fox and the Hound is our next movie. It's S tier, and it was our very first S tier, which is surprising. It took 24 movies. I'm not gonna say a word. I'm gonna let her say everything because she
Foxies!
She cried.
I did cry. I had never seen this movie before, and I love foxes, and it's so cute. But they do kill a fox like in the first 2 minutes, and that would kind of like killed me. So it's just the story of these two like becoming friends, and it's really cute, and the hound is adorable, his little wrinkly face, and the fox is so cute. He got the big fluffy tail, and the fox gets taken in by this really sweet elderly woman named Tweed, and the hound is like taken in by this hunter guy, and they realize they're not going to be friends forever. When they come back after a long time being separated, like they have to hate each other, and it causes the mentor of the hound to get hurt on accident. There's like some shenanigans or whatever. The owner of the hound is so hell-bent on killing this fox, so Tweed has to take her child, her little baby fox, into the woods and leave him out there. I cried. I cried. I was so sad. I don't know if you can see my eyes. I'm crying. I'm just trying to record this scene for my video. And I'm crying. You can see that, right? I'm literally crying. What the fuck? Then he's horny for like a while. Then the ending is really good, where like the guy goes into the nature reserve with the hound and they try to kill him, but then there's like this terrifying bear that shows up. Very scary bear. The fox ends up saving him, and then, you know, the hound won't let his owner shoot him, and then they all go on their merry way. They just know they have to be separate. So it's kind of a bittersweet ending, but it's done so well. There is this side plot of these two birds trying to eat a worm that...
Which it was funny at first, but then it went on a little too long.
It just kept going, and it's not important.
The ending is kind of funny whenever the caterpillar comes out and he's a butterfly, and the bird's like, what the fuck?
The only other thing I don't like is that Mickey Rooney plays the adult fox, and he's not a good actor. I can't stop seeing him in the Breakfast at Tiffany's makeup.
I love this movie. I already saw it before she did, so I already knew what was happening. I was having to close my mouth the entire time. Whenever the fox gets shot at the beginning, I'm like, oh. Yeah, I forgot that happened.
I was like, eh. I love foxes. They're my favorite animal.
And to have one be shot on screen is very interesting. My favorite character was Big Mama, which was owl. Wasn't she an owl?
Yeah, she was the mentor.
An owl at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, she kind of like was the mentor to both of them.
And she like tried to get them to be friends, but telling them, hey, you guys can't be friends for long.
My favorite character was Widow Tweed, the owner of the fox.
Yeah. And my favorite song was Goodbye, which is the song they played whenever she dropped him off. Yeah. I'm surprised that's not your favorite song.
My favorite was Best of Friends when they first met each other. Yeah. That was nice. And then my favorite scene was the fox and the hound playing when they were babies.
I just put cute. So cute! Like we said, this is our first S-tier movie, and it was our #1 movie for a while. Yeah, it took us to the Renaissance to have another S-tier movie. And that was 10 years later.
I've seen that joke a million times, but it's still funny. So Emperor's New Groove is a comedic classic, and you're probably wondering why it's this high. And that's because it's hilarious, and I have no regrets. Just because a movie's funny compared to, like, movies about drama doesn't mean that it's worse. I feel like comedy is actually kind of harder to write. I love the character arcs in this one. I love every single character. It's a riot. None of the jokes even fall flat, even today.
Pull the lever, Crunk. Wrong lever! Why do we even have that lever? Get them!
Hey, I've been turned into a cow. Can I go home?
You're excused. Anyone else?
No, we're good. We're good.
You threw off my groove.
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
You were saying?
What's his name?
I would say more, but I think he's about to explode, so I'm gonna let him continue.
So basically, this movie is for the boys. Okay, this is a hunk of a movie. Kronk, he's the definition of manliness. Cusco is the definition of character arc. He starts off as this shitty little character we don't give a shit about, to this lovable, hubbly-bubbly man. And Pacho is the one that teaches this shit kid to be the hubbly-bubbly man. So he's the hubbly-bubbly man at the beginning. Yzma, probably not the best, but my personal favorite, because she's hilarious. She's genuinely kind of terrifying, and she's smart. She's gonna turn him into a flea, put him in a box, put that box inside of another box, then have that box mailed to me, and I was gonna smash it with a hammer.
This movie is so quotable.
This movie is amazing. Funny first, but has a good plot. It's a very, like, the worst part about this movie is the breakup scene, which ass.
It's actually really bad.
It's so bad, because literally what happens is they break up. Cusco goes to Yzma, and then Yzma's like, we got to kill the Emperor, and then Cusco's like, damn it. The Good Back Together scene's pretty solid. He goes back to the pasture to live his life as a llama, and Pacha's there talking to the llamas like, yeah, this is one guy that was kind of a dick. I think he's kind of growing up, though. The Get Back Together scene is really solid.
Yeah. Cusco is one of the best character arcs in cinema,
Cusco is a Disney princess, and you can quote me.
I love the ending, how after he changed from being an asshole, they didn't make him like give this whole big speech about why he was wrong.
Yeah, he literally says like, I'm gonna move my tower somewhere else. Your place is not that good.
I didn't hear any singing on this hilltop, so that means it's trash, so I don't want to build my stuff here.
Like, he doesn't say like, oh, you know, we've gone through a lot, you know, I've really thought about my decision. He doesn't give that whole speech. He just says, your place is ass. I'm gonna move it somewhere else. And then there's a scene in the fight, like the big ending fight, where there's trampolines.
That's my favorite joke in the whole movie.
For the last time, we did not order a giant trampoline. You know, pal, you could have told me that before I set it up.
It doesn't feel like a Disney movie, but for once, that's a compliment. It's so well done, and I don't typically like David Spade. He's one of my least favorite, like, comedians in general, but he was so good in this role.
David Spade.
Why are you wearing a giant hat?
So, my favorite character is Kronk.
Mine is also Kronk.
And my favorite song is the Cusco song that he sings at the beginning. Also, I should point that there's no songs really in this movie besides Goofy Friend Like Me. Apparently it's a song.
Although, if you haven't heard it yet, I would definitely check out Snuff Out the Light. That was the canceled song from this movie that Yzma would have sang. It's one of the best Disney villain songs, period.
I feel like if that song was in this movie, we would forgive the breakup scene.
Yeah, that song is so good.
My favorite scene was the map scene whenever Kronk pulls out the map and says,
by all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
My favorite scene was the scene at the diner where they're like walking both in to talk to Kronk at the same time.
Every scene in this movie is hilarious. It doesn't try to be serious, and that's what's good about it. That's why the breakup scene's ass, because it tries to be serious.
What do you say, Cusco?
Whoa, no touchy. No touchy. No touch.
No touchy. I quote that all the time.
Yeah, she does. Okay.
Isabella, your boyfriend's here. 7-foot frame wraps along his back.
Encanto! Yes, we're finally here.
The
You
latest
guys are probably
Disney film.
surprised it's so low.
It's not because it's bad, it's because some movies are just better.
Yeah, it still is in top 10. So
yes, it's number 8.
One of the few movies that doesn't have a villain, and it's very good. There's no villain whatsoever.
Unless you count the soldiers who, like, cut Pedro's head off.
Count the soldiers that are in the movie for like 10 seconds.
You don't even see their faces.
This is a movie we went to go see in theaters, and at first we actually thought this movie was ass.
We didn't think it was ass, we just thought it was fine.
Yeah, because in our theater, the speakers were cheeks.
The speakers were so bad.
So we could barely understand.
I literally didn't even know what surface pressure. I didn't know that surface pressure was about struggling under the weight of expectations because I couldn't hear the lyrics. I just could hear the beat.
And that brings me to the moral. The moral of this movie is phenomenal. I feel like the main moral is calm the down. Stop stressing yourself so much. Stop putting so much pressure on everyone else.
Yeah, the main moral is just about, don't put so much pressure on other people. And also, the grass is always greener on the other side because Mirabelle doesn't have a power and she thinks that she's worthless. But then she talks with her family and turns out pretty much all of them are like, I fucking hate this power. Yeah. I wish I was you.
This movie, all the characters are phenomenal. There's no character besides maybe Isabella. Isabella's fine. It's just
I think that I see what they were going for, but they didn't have enough build up because she's like, all you've ever done for me is mess things up. So that told me there was some backstory that might have happened. Apparently a cut line from the movie was that when you were a kid, you always told on me. So that would make things make more sense because there's no real reason that she hates Mirabelle so much.
Yeah, if we got more backstory of Mirabelle and Isabella, I feel like Isabella would have been perfect as well. I love Abuela's breakups or freaking
Get Back Together scene.
The Get Back Together scene.
Dos Ogarritas is so well done.
If that doesn't win on the Grammys.
Oscars.
Same thing.
We're gonna watch the Oscars.
Future us. if it doesn't win.
Yeah, Oscars are tonight, so we're gonna watch that once we're finished recording these. I should preface I've seen this movie like 10 times now. I have cried a few times watching Dos Ocarritas, because that animation on Abuela Alma when she's crying like is so well done. Because it was also like compared to the time she told the story in the first film, the first part of the movie, she was like, oh no, my husband, that's so sad. Because it was just, you're telling a story to a child. You don't want to, and later on, she tells the real story.
She tells him, yeah, he died.
Yeah, especially that shot of her like holding the babies when she's like all traumatized in that magic
and,
candle.
Like, bending over. This is going to be me going on a little tangent about just Disney in general. I love recent Disney because recent Disney has just made ugly crying something. Mm-hmm. Give me more ugly crying, because you're not going to be that perfect makeup everywhere crying. It's the one movie where I love despite not having a villain. Every song's a banger, every character's a banger, everything's a banger in this movie.
Bruno is my favorite. He's my son. I've adopted him.
You can start your rant now.
I've adopted him. He's my son. I avoided all trailers with this film because I don't like watching trailers anymore. Which I'm glad, because in the trailer they reveal that Bruno is actually in the house. When I watched it, I thought Bruno was the villain. And that song, although it's not my favorite, it's so good. We don't talk about Bruno. Like all the different melodies and stuff. And Camillo's part is the best. Fight me. Dolores is a close second. Yeah, I love We Don't Talk About Bruno. And I love that reveal when they first show that he's behind the house with like the piece just flies up. That's so good. Everyone just saw the worst in it when it's like, I'm just imagining like all these prophecies that he gives. It's like, hey bro, if you keep eating like that, you're gonna grow a gut. And the guy's like, oh shit, he gave me a prophecy and I grew a gut. It's his fault.
Oh like, bro, my fish, it's a goldfish, it's gonna die any day. Well, how long is it gonna live? It's gonna die tomorrow.
Why was Lady Pez Muerta, which is her actual name, which means dead fish, why was Lady Pez Muerta carrying around a dead fish in a jar for 10 years? But all the characters are great. You immediately sympathize with Mirabelle, and yeah, it's...
Luis the best character. Actually, no, she's not. Felix is, but...
You're married to Luisa, apparently.
Yeah, she's on the Iron Throne.
Okay, the ending's a little rushed. I think the scene in Bruno's room kind of is meh.
I like this scene where Bruno rides up on the horse on Mirabelle and Abuela, and the first thing Abuela does is instantly hug him. Not even a single word is said from her. She just instantly hugs him, and it's great.
And a couple other things I noticed when he first sees his sisters again after 10 years, like he's trying to wave hi to him and they just immediately go hug him.
Exactly. Like that's there's no words. They just instantly go up to him.
And I have to say the thing, Camilla says 7-foot frame, but this man is 5'4". You cannot tell me he's tall. He's the shortest out of all of them. Yeah. My favorite character is obviously Bruno.
Mine is Felix.
And my favorite song is Surface Pressure.
That is also mine.
Yeah, and my favorite scene is when we meet Bruno for the first time.
And my favorite scene is the telenovelas.
I love that line just for the sole purpose of it got me out of being grounded one time. My dad asked me to do the dishes at one point, and I didn't. You know, if I don't do the dishes, I'll get grounded. So my dad's like, what's the rule in this house? Right after we eat. And I said, no cuts, no butts, no coconuts. And he laughed so much that he let me off the hook.
Damn.
So Wreck-It Ralph is probably, okay, not video game adaptation. This is probably the best video game movie ever made. I love Ralph and Vanellope's relationship. That's so cute. And they didn't botch it like they did in the second one. But I like the moral of, like, he doesn't have to change who he is. It's basically that, yeah, you're the bad guy, but that does not mean you are bad guy.
And being bad is good.
Yeah, you don't have to actually be a bad person. It's just that's your job and you're the best at doing it. And everyone else relies on you. So I think the lesson was mainly for the Nicelanders, who are assholes to Ralph because they treat him like a bad guy, even though he's essential to the game.
Yeah, without him, there's no game.
And I do like that Felix isn't actually a bad person.
Calhoun and Felix are the best couple. They are phenomenal. This little 2-foot gremlin and 6-foot mommy are the best ever. And you can't say I'm wrong.
I like the subtle video game references, like the cheat code, up, up, down, down, left, right, left, with that one. That's cool. King Candy is awesome villain. It's Alan Tudyk's. It's like Alan Tudyk's only speaking role, because every other time he plays animals, like Tuk Tuk and Hey Hey.
And he's by far the best twist villain.
He's definitely the best twist villain. The characters are all great. I like, you identify with Vanellope.
The breakup scene in this movie. Holy shit. So there's two sides of this story. Ralph believes that Vanellope can't escape the game if the game gets turned off, so he destroys her cart and makes it where she can't be a racer, because then the game will be shut off and she dies. Vanellope, she wants to race, you know, she's a child, she doesn't really understand all too much, but I mean, this scene is so hard to watch, because all it is Ralph not saying a single word, and just walking up to her cart and smashing it. Cut away to Vanellope screaming and saying, "Hey, stop! What
like,
are you
they
doing?"
make it seem like it's a lot more violent than
and like
it
you
is.
just see pieces of car going everywhere. And I remind you, they worked on this car together. They built it together. He taught her how to drive.
It was right after she gave him the "You're My Hero" medal.
And like, oh my god,
You really are a bad guy.
this scene is so good. The get back together scenes is okay.
It's fine.
It's fine.
That is definitely the best breakup scene I have seen in anything.
It's like, you know, it's a good breakup scene whenever it's hard to watch.
Yeah, I like the twist villain of King Candy. I like that
great.
it's not just a twist villain that he's the bad guy. It's the fact that he's another character.
Yeah.
He gets eaten by the Cybug, and then he becomes the Cybug.
Yeah.
And the fact that also Ralph is about to sacrifice himself to save Vanellope.
This is the reason why we don't like Wreck-It Ralph 2, is because we have Wreck-It Ralph 1 so... This is the most polarizing first movie to second movie that we have on our Disney list. My favorite character is Calhoun. I love her. She's great.
My favorite character is Ralph.
And then my favorite song is... I can't wait to do this again.
Yeah, same.
This is the end
When can
credit
I see
scene.
you again? And my favorite scene is Ralph's sacrifice at the end.
The breakup scene. Well,
That's your breakup scene.
Mine's the breakup
Yeah.
scene.
Don't make out with your husband. We're watching a movie.
That's the intro. Don't make out with your husband. We're watching the movie.
This was my nostalgia card. This movie has probably quite a few problems, but I don't care. This was my favorite Disney movie as a kid. I love Aladdin. Aladdin is so good. I love the chemistry between Aladdin and Jasmine. I definitely buy their romance. Jafar is kind of a meh villain, but he looks so cool that you don't care.
He is terrifying.
Yeah.
Jafar's the one villain where I can make the acceptance of having more than one trait. He is genuinely terrifying.
Especially when he turns into a snake. I'm terrified of snakes, so that should tell you something. I like the magic carpet, although Abu disappears in the last half of the movie,
Abu
so like
just goes away. Like
you just delete Babu.
just alt F4. Like I'm gonna go ahead and say my negatives of this movie.
Go
the
ahead.
only
We're gonna
negative,
start
because I have very little say about this movie, man, because I know she's gonna ramble. The CGI is. It's the same problem that I have with a movie coming up very soon. Is the CGI, but mainly the CGI, and then I think the genie carries way too hard. Like literally, Robin Williams.
He is the genie.
He is the genie.
It's basically just Robin Williams animated.
But then, like, everyone else in this movie, they're good. But the genie is like, woof. Like, he's crazy, and I love him. But then everyone else just feels, like, weird.
I disagree on that. I like Aladdin as a character.
I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm just saying he carries a lot.
He carries the whole movie.
Without him, I would not like this movie. I would tell you.
If the genie was more tamed down and felt like a stereotypical Disney character, that's probably been great.
If he wasn't funny or charming or anything, then yeah.
But I do like that they introduced him halfway through so we can get to know the other characters. Yeah. But also, I know that for Robin Williams, they just gave him like bullet points of what they had to do and let him improvise. Yeah. There's like over an hour of unused audio for the genie. I typically don't like pop culture references in movies. I find it takes me out of the experience, which one joke will come up soon, which I hate more than I probably should. But the genie works because even as a child, I didn't get any of these references. I just thought he was making a funny face and doing a funny voice. Like, are you looking at me? Are you talking to me? Like, I just found that funny. And it fit with the scene. He wasn't doing anything like that was out of place. I don't know what else I can say. If you haven't seen this movie, then what the heck are you doing?
I love Will Smith.
Everyone knows this movie's great. Everyone knows Robin Williams is fantastic. Oh, the songs. The songs are all fantastic. Even the slower ones. Like, I personally really like Street Rat song.
I don't remember it.
One Jump is great. That's the beginning one.
I like the Street Rat song.
I do like Arabian Nights. That's the very beginning. The genie one. I kind of wish Jafar sang. like more than once.
Prince. That's my favorite song.
Because that song would have been so great if he
Whole
did
New World.
more.
What the fuck am I talking
Yeah,
about?
that's the best one. I was saving that for last.
yeah,
well,
yeah.
technically, that's my second favorite. But I think it's just because, like, it's one of the first romances in Disney where, like, well, of course, Beauty and the Beast came before this, but it's one of the first where he's like, hey, I want to get with this girl, so I'm going to give her something that she likes. Like, that's how romances work. I do like She's a very smart Jasmine.
Yeah.
Like, she also is like, I'll never bow to you.
Like, she's actually a woman that has things to do.
Yeah, she figures out that it's Aladdin. She's very clever. And
a
also,
brain.
she willingly kisses the villain so Aladdin can get a chance to save the day. Like, damn. She's only 15 or 14. I don't know. And she kisses, like, a man who's, like, in his 50s. Like, that. And I don't like the outfit she wears. Favorite character is Genie.
Genie.
If you don't think that, you're wrong. Favorite song is Friend Like Me.
Mine's Whole New World.
And my favorite scene is the climax battle at the end
Mine's
with the...
also the climax.
Yeah, with the snake.
Do you think they get growth up here? This movie, we love it. We just don't know why we don't love it. Like, it's not top 3 for us.
I think it's that it's great, but if I had a list of all Disney movies I wanted to watch, this would be towards the lower end.
And that movie is Beauty and the Beast.
Go ahead, kill us now.
Yeah, because, like, it's slow, but, like, I feel like it's supposed to be slow.
Can I do the praises?
Yeah.
Okay. It's gorgeous.
It is.
I know the animation can be a bit scratchy at times, but, like, especially that ballroom scene, like,
The
that
most
is
iconic Disney scene ever.
that is outstanding animation. So good, so wonderful.
And the song that the tea lady sings during that, the
Spots.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's so beautiful.
that's top 5 love songs as well. That's probably number 4.
Yeah. Something else I can say is that Maurice is my favorite Disney dad. He's not the best, but he's definitely my favorite Disney dad.
I love
He's
Maurice.
such a good dad. Like, he goes off by himself to go save Belle. All the songs in this movie are great. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Gaston, I still
His
love...
song is a smack.
Yeah, Belle is a great protagonist. I love that she's doesn't know her own beauty. The thing is, she doesn't care. It's not her thing. She just wants to go and read her books. I like that. I like how close she is with her dad. Yeah, the Beast is kind of an asshole, but I personally think the romance is still a bit too fast, but I like it that he gives her the library. Like, that's something that she likes. Like, That's good. Good job. But I guess it can also be the fact that he was 10 when he was cursed, so...
Which would bloom until his 21st year.
10 years we've been rusting. The rose has already begun to wilt.
Because that's just math.
Yeah.
My favorite character is Mrs. Potts.
Mine's Gaston.
Of course. My favorite song is Be Our Guest.
Mine's Gaston.
Of course. And my favorite scene is, of course, the ballroom scene.
And my favorite scene is Be Our Guest scene. I just love how everything's moving.
Yeah. Okay.
Amatoa.
To do a David Bowie inspired number sung by Nigel from Rio.
Featuring Buck Cluck from...
Featuring Buck Cluck and Biggie Sheen. I hate the tweeting joke.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
Moana's good. Very, very good.
Hate the tweeting joke.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
She hates the tweeting joke.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
Literally, I've had it in number 3, and then I moved it down just because of the tweeting joke. I switched
down very far.
I switched 3 and 4 around because I hate that tweeting joke so much. Everything else is great.
This movie is almost the closest thing to perfection.
The songs are fantastic. The characters are great. I love Moana as a protagonist.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson was probably the perfect fit for Maui.
It works. It's not just a random celebrity casting.
Yeah.
It works.
This is one of the few times where random celebrity casting, spot on.
Mm-hmm. And the girl who plays Moana. I cannot pronounce her name for the life of me. I'm just going to put it on the screen. So, Moana, that girl is such a good singer. And she was only 15 when she did this. She's actually younger than the character she's playing. Mm-hmm. And I love that they took a chance on someone brand new. I love that. Please keep doing that.
Yeah.
Please. Please.
I know you're watching this, Disney.
Yeah, the music, everything. I love how they incorporated the culture.
What else do we have to say about this movie?
It's a love letter to all of Polynesia. It's a reverse twist villain, which I love.
T'Kau's perfect. I love T'Kau.
I love Hey Hey. I love the screaming chicken. But Alan Tudyk, I cannot tell if he was overpaid or underpaid for that role. Whatever it was too much and too little at the same time.
Tamatoa is
the
biggest holy shit, this is in the movie moment.
I love Tamatoa. It's Jamie Clement sings a David Bowie style musical number.
There's no reason for him to be in the movie, but if he wasn't in the movie, it'd be a worse movie. One of the few instances where you can't remove what doesn't really need to be there.
Yeah. The only thing that I have a problem, other than the tweeting joke.
Use a bird to write with.
The breakup's kind of weird. And not just the breakup, it's just the fact that Maui is afraid that he's going to lose his magical fish hook. So he leaves Moana, and then he just comes back for no reason. Like, you never find out why, what changed his mind. It's not like he was watching her and saw that she was in danger. It's just, he just shows up.
I Am Moana is one of the best I Want songs ever.
Yeah, well, How Far I'll Go is technically the I Want song. It's good. I like that she has both of her parents, although the dad is kind of an asshole. I love the grandma, even though she dies. So sad. She immediately was reincarnated as that Ray, and that was beautiful.
Anyway, my favorite character is Maui.
Mine was Tamatoa.
My favorite song was You're Welcome, because Dwayne The Rock Johnson rap.
My favorite song was Shiny.
And then just to piss her off, I put my favorite scene as the tweeting joke.
Use a bird to write with. It's called tweeting.
And my favorite scene was the I Am Moana scene.
My actual favorite scene is whenever she's crossing the ocean, and that scene is gorgeous.
Yeah.
She's got legs of steel. Look at those things. Like, the top body is like, it's good, it's okay. But look at that bottom, bro. She's got the bottom of Louisa and the top of Kira. Lilo and Stitch is next.
The last non-musical.
Yeah.
So, and it's still great.
It's great. It's hilarious. It's actually has emotion while still being hilarious.
The designs of everything are so creative, especially the aliens.
The two songs that are in this movie are bangers.
Yeah.
Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride and what's the other one?
It's in Hawaiian. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Technically the Elvis Presley songs as well.
I don't like the Elvis. That's the only thing I don't like about this movie. I don't like the Elvis songs.
I kind of find it funny that she would show him Elvis.
Yeah,
like,
I get that she's a child and has those interests, but like it kind of feels like, hey, look at celebrity, woohoo. Lilo is probably the best portrayal of a child in anything. I love how just balls to the wall crazy Lilo is. Like, she's so well done, and Nani is such a sympathetic character too.
And she's probably the best representation of a almost adult having to take care of
the whole thing about her, Cobra Bubbles trying to take her away.
How old is Nani?
19. The social worker trying to take Lilo away is such a big threat, as well as the alien thing, but that's done so well, especially that scene where they're saying goodbye and they sing that little song together. Yeah. That makes me tear up.
I love Stitch.
Then there's the alien side, and Stitch is great. I'm not the biggest fan of the two that follow him, but they kind of grow on me after a while. I think it ends a little weird.
99% of the film is almost perfect. I'm fine with the ending.
I like David.
I love David.
He's hot.
He is hot, yeah. So, context of this character. There's a 15-second part you guys probably remember. The lifeguard. Oh my fuck. She has no reason to be this dummy thick for being in the movie for 15 seconds. So yeah, she's my favorite character. What's your favorite character, Liz?
Nani.
And my favorite song was the Hawaiian roller coaster ride. I love that song.
That's so nice.
And then my favorite scene is the 15 seconds of the lifeguard. If I was being serious, my favorite scene would be whenever Lilo says, "Oh great, my dog got the chainsaw."
My favorite scene is when Nani and Lilo talk the first time after the inspector leaves.
Yeah.
That little conversation that they have. That's nice. That's all CG background.
It's so good, though.
You couldn't even tell.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Sorry, this is why I don't watch this movie a lot, because there'd be a lot of these noises. Hunchback of Notre Dame is the peak of cinema. You might be asking, why is it number 2? One thing. The f***ing gargoyles. Only one of them, the George Costanza gargoyle, is the worst thing to ever come out of Disney.
He's not funny.
He's not funny. He gives no advice, which that's what the gargoyles are there for, to give advice and show them how to live life. And then they have him sing a song.
The other two are fine. I would have liked them to be gone, but, you know, he's just the worst.
Literally, this movie is the complete peak of cinema. The second worst thing in this movie is the CGI, which...
The background characters are CGI. Every other CGI thing is great.
I can forgive because this movie
they're not in the foreground.
Looks so good everywhere else.
Yeah. But, like, the gargoyles are so bad. I hate that they sing. Literally, remove the gargoyles. I could forgive the CG. Everything else is fantastic. The best Disney has ever done.
This movie would be number 1 if it didn't have
didn't have the gargoyles. It would be number 1 easy, no question about it.
Every song in this movie is the peak of music.
Except
Disney.
for the
Besides
gargoyle
Guy
song.
Like You.
That's the gargoyle
Because
song.
you know how we were talking about, like, Princess and the Frog, every song is S tier, then down the bottom is A. Every song in this movie is S plus tier, and Guy Like You is shit tier. It's beyond shit. It's off tier.
Off tier.
There's so many
Just
good
skip
scenes.
through that scene. And that happens right after one of the darkest scenes.
Yeah, literally.
After he burns all of Paris.
Yeah.
Now we'll go into the good stuff. Everything else. The score is outstanding. Those bells and the choir. Like, that's so good. The first scene is so dark where, like, Quasimodo's mom gets killed and then Frollo's about ready to drown this baby. Yeah. That's so good. And that high note is great. Out There is probably the best I Want song Disney's done.
Good.
It starts out with Frollo, like, demeaning Quasimodo and telling him, like, you're ugly, like, no one will ever love you. And then he just goes out. He climbs all over that cathedral. That cathedral is absolutely gorgeous.
That's probably the best looking I Want song.
I heard a lot of people critique the guy who plays Quasimodo for his singing voice, but, like, I think it's meant to be quiet. I don't think it's supposed to be, like, as explosive.
Yeah, and it fits Quasimodo.
He's a shy person.
As a shy freak of nature, as he's called in the movie. It fits what is wanted.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Esmeralda.
I mean, that's my wife.
Thick gypsy lady. She's really good. She's wonderful. I love how brave she is.
And I love the scene whenever she saves Quasi from all the tomatoes.
That she just stands up and does not care.
Because she understands, because she's also an outcast.
Yeah, and
that's perfect.
When she gets trapped in the cathedral, she sings a song to God, asking them to help other people because she can get by. She's fine.
Yeah.
Phoebus is good. I mean, he's not that great.
Phoebus just kind of exists. I can deal with his existence. But he has some funny lines.
I like that he kind of starts as a villain. Not really. Yeah. Phoebus is good. I do actually like the relationship with Esmeralda. I like that they don't give Quasimodo the girl.
Yeah.
Now we get
Frollo.
to Frollo. Best Disney villain. Not my favorite, but best. Scary as shit.
He is by far the most realistic villain. Succumbing to lust as a priest, like...
And, like, putting that in a kid's movie is really ballsy. Especially the song is called Hellfire, which plays right after Quasimodo's song of Heaven's Light. And they're both love songs to Esmeralda. Yeah, Hellfire is the best Disney song.
And I love that it literally goes from Heaven's Light to Hellfire. Like, it's not even, like, 2 seconds after each, or before and after each other.
That song is so good. The guy who plays him, I think his name is Tony J. He's outstanding.
Yeah, he's
so good. He also did the narration in Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Frollo is that all the time he thinks he's in the right.
Yeah.
He thinks he's a god-driven man, and he's always
which is
correct.
very realistic because that's
Yeah.
how most priests would see themselves doing naughty things.
Yeah. That scene where he sniffs your hair, like, that just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like, ooh. I mean, he's supposed to be 56 in this film, and Esmeralda has been aged up. In the book, she was 16. Here, she's 28. Yeah, she's older than Quasimodo. My favorite character was Esmeralda.
Mine was also Esmeralda.
And my favorite song was Hellfire.
Mine was Out There. I
Yeah.
literally nutted during this song. Sorry. My favorite scene was everything except the gargoyles. Like, every scene in this movie is a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm. My favorite scene was Esmeralda saving Quasimodo and standing up to Frollo in that scene. So... God damn it, Kyle. You just ruined everything. The best Disney movie, in our opinion, is The Lion King. Who would have fucking thought?
Oh, yay, play.
Not surprising.
Crowd.
This is one of the ones that I think is also my favorite as well as the best. Because Pixar, it's different. This is the best and my favorite, in my opinion. Yes, it has problems. Every movie's got problems. So let me just get those out of the way. I fucking hate Matthew Broderick's voice. Oh my god, he's the worst. He cannot act for the life of him. And there's like a couple fart jokes. The last thing is kind of a nitpick, but like, I don't care. It's just some people notice that towards the end, like the whole moral is about, you know, understanding what you did wrong and accepting it. When Simba confesses that he killed his father, none of the other lions stand with him. And then Scar's about to kill him until he reveals that Scar was the one who killed his father. And then the other lions come with him. So like,
oh, yeah.
Everything else, phenomenal. Outstanding. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. The songs are all great. I even like Hakuna Matata. I love gay Nathan Lane. I love them. Yeah, Circle of Life is probably one of the best openings to any Disney film.
It's the most iconic by far.
Yeah. Nah.
Literally, the second you hear that note and a rising sun, you're like, oh, well, Lion King time.
Yep.
The only thing that fell is this little box. What's inside? What? It's a box of... A box of... That's ridiculous. You can't put in a box.
This story is so epic. Mufasa is probably the best Disney dad. He's not my favorite, but he's the best. His death. Every kid remembers that time. Yeah. Everyone remembers. That's like a rite of passage to be a child. You have to witness
to be a
him
child,
dying.
You must see Mufasa die.
I cried this time. I've seen this movie probably 30 times at this point. And the fact that they show you the body and then he goes under his arm and cuddles with it, like, bro, Scar is great. The hyenas are great. I love Ed. We stand Ed in this house. I love Jeremy Irons. His death. Motherfucker. His death scene is so scary. He gets eaten alive. The other thing I love is that scene with the stick where they show him about the past.
Ow! The past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it.
That's so well done. I love that. I love Rafiki and his cracked out ways.
Why the f does Nala do that little smirk? Like, what the fuck?
That is the sexual
that is the
awakening
of so many furry. Yeah, I believe the romance. It's just that smirk's a little too much. Gonna make me act. Oh, you done? Anyways, my favorite character was Elton John, because he wrote all the songs.
Okay. My favorite character was young Simba.
And my favorite song was Hakuna Matata.
Mine was Be Prepared.
And my favorite scene was the Hoo-Ow.
What do you want me to do? Dress and drag and do the hula? Hoo-ow!
And my favorite scene was the opening, the Circle of Life. It kind of came back in the end, but like that hard cut to the title card, like, bro.
Well, there it is.
We have finished all the movies. This took way too long.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Good night, tri-state area.